February 14, 2026. A Pakistani radar station at Sakasar goes dark. No missile strike, no airstrike, just silence. 20 minutes later, the communications hub at Kamra Air Base stops transmitting. Then the early warning radar at Baden. One by one, across Pakistan's Western Air Defense Network, critical installations simply cease to function. By dawn, Pakistan's Air Force is flying blind across a 200-kilometer corridor. What happened? India's secret drone fleet just proved it could dismantle an entire air defense system without firing a single shot. This isn't the drone war you've been reading about. No Bayraktars, no Reapers, no off-the-shelf technology purchased from foreign suppliers. What India unleashed during Operation Sindoor was something defense analysts are still trying to fully understand. A coordinated swarm of indigenous unmanned systems that didn't just support the war effort. They defined it. The world knows India builds missiles. BrahMos gets the headlines. Agni makes the news. But while everyone was watching the big rockets, India quietly became a drone superpower. And the scariest part? Most of what they've built is still classified. Let's start with what we know happened. May 9th, 2025. Pakistani forces detect what their systems classify as a small aircraft approaching the line of control. Standard Intercept Protocol. 2 JF-17 scramble. The target disappears from radar. The jets return to base. 3 hours later, an ammunition depot 40 kilometers inside Pakistani territory explodes. No aircraft detected. No missile launch recorded. Just a secondary explosion that registers on seismographs in New Delhi. That was a Harop. Israel designed it. India manufactures it under license and improved it. Officially, it's called a loitering munition. Practically, it's a kamikaze drone that can fly for 6 hours, waiting, watching, hunting for radar emissions. The moment an enemy radar switches on, Harop locks on and dives. Pakistan learned this the hard way when their Chinese-made HQ-9 batteries started lighting up to track Indian aircraft. Every time they turned on their radar, they painted a target on themselves. India deployed these in devastating numbers during Sindoor, not dozens, hundreds. Pakistani air defense commanders faced an impossible choice. Turn on your radar and die, or stay dark and let Indian jets operate freely. Most chose to stay dark. That's not a military failure. That's a psychological defeat delivered by a drone that costs a fraction of what it destroys. But Harop is just the weapon everyone can see. The real story is what flew alongside it. DRDO's Autonomous Unmanned Research Aircraft. The official name hides what it actually does. Rustum surveillance drones feeding real-time targeting data to strike packages. Ghatak stealth drones designed to penetrate air defenses that would shred conventional aircraft. And then there's Archer, the high-altitude pseudo-satellite that hasn't officially entered service but somehow appeared in operational photos from Sindoor. 20-kilometer ceiling. Solar-powered. Weeks of endurance. Watching everything. Pakistan's military released footage claiming they shot down 47 Indian drones during the war. India's Ministry of Defense never confirmed or denied the number. Think about that. Even if Pakistan's claim is accurate, even if they destroyed 47 drones, India kept operating. The swarms kept coming. The surveillance never stopped. The strikes continued. That's the difference between having drones and having a drone doctrine. India didn't just buy unmanned systems and bolt them onto an existing military structure. India rebuilt its entire operational concept around them. Every strike package now includes electronic warfare drones. Every reconnaissance mission has armed loitering munitions overhead. Every forward position has micro-drone operators who can put eyes on a target in under 2 minutes. And the technology keeps evolving. DRDO just demonstrated swarming behavior. 30 drones operating with distributed intelligence, making coordinated decisions without human input. One drone finds a target. The swarm decides which unit takes the shot. The others reposition, creating overlapping coverage that's nearly impossible to escape. That capability didn't exist 3 years ago. Now it's operational. Here's what makes this truly terrifying for India's adversaries. The drone fleet you're seeing today isn't the final form. It's Generation 1. The drones India fields in 2027 will have AI targeting systems that current platforms can't match. DRDO is testing neural networks that identify vehicle types, troop movements, and even camouflage patterns from altitudes where human analysts see nothing but pixels. The pilot program already exceeds human accuracy by 40%. That's not replacing human judgment. That's augmenting it to the point where one operator manages 12 drones simultaneously, each making split-second decisions within parameters the operator sets. Consider what this means in practice. A border skirmish breaks out. Within minutes, micro-drones launch from forward posts, establishing a surveillance perimeter. Larger loitering munitions arrive overhead. Reconnaissance drones map enemy positions. All of this happens before the first artillery round is fired. The commander isn't guessing where the enemy is. He's watching them in real time, from 6 different angles, with thermal imaging, while armed drones circle above, waiting for target authorization. Pakistan can't match this. Their drone program relies heavily on Chinese technology and Turkish imports. Capable systems, but they're not integrated. They're individual platforms operating in isolation. During Sindoor, Pakistani Buraq drones scored hits, but they required extensive ground control, predictable flight patterns, and clear weather. India's systems operated through sandstorms at night, with minimal human oversight. China obviously has superior technology in raw terms. Their WZ-8 reconnaissance drone and CH-7 stealth platform outclass anything India currently fields. But technology alone doesn't win wars. Integration does. Doctrine does. The willingness to risk expensive platforms on dangerous missions does. India lost drones during Sindoor, plenty of them. The difference is, India built its strategy expecting losses. Each drone is a sensor and a weapon, but it's also expendable in ways a piloted aircraft never is. Losing a $50 million drone is acceptable if it takes out a $200 million air defense system. Losing a pilot is not. This is why India's defense exports are exploding. Countries watching Sindoor didn't just see India win. They saw a new model of warfare that doesn't require a massive air force or billions in fighter jets. Armenia ordered Akash missiles and is now negotiating for Indian drones. Egypt, Vietnam, and the Philippines are all in discussions. These aren't nations buying prestige weapons. They're buying proven systems that performed under combat conditions, and India's advantage compounds. Every export sale funds further development. Every operational deployment generates data that improves the next generation. Every conflict teaches lessons that get incorporated into training and doctrine. The gap between India and its regional rivals isn't closing. It's widening. The Indian Air Force is already planning for a future where unmanned systems outnumber piloted aircraft 3-1. Not because pilots are obsolete, but because the missions drones can accomplish have multiplied beyond what anyone predicted 5 years ago. Suppression of enemy air defenses, combat search and rescue, electronic warfare, even air-to-air combat. All of these roles now have unmanned solutions in development. 20 years ago, India couldn't build a reliable rifle. Today, India manufactures hypersonic missiles, stealth drones, and satellite killers. The same organizations that were dismissed as bureaucratic and inefficient have become some of the most innovative defense developers on the planet. Pakistan's military knows this. China's strategists know this. They watched Sindoor and drew conclusions that should worry them. India didn't just win the air war. India demonstrated a level of technological maturity and operational sophistication that changes the calculation for any future conflict. The drones are just the visible part. Behind them is a defense industrial base that's finally delivering, a doctrine that's finally coherent, and a military that's finally confident in its own capabilities. India's drone revolution isn't about matching Western technology or copying Chinese designs. It's about building systems that work for India's specific threats, India's specific geography, India's specific doctrine. And it's working. The fleet that terrified Pakistan in 2025 is already obsolete compared to what's coming next. That should terrify everyone else.